What's up everyone, welcome back to the channel. So on today's video guys, I want to show you where did I invest 60% of my gold. And the goal of this video is not about you have to buy this item right now, but instead I want to give you guys the information on why this trade made sense for me, so that you can use this information on whether this trade is worth it for you or not worth it. But before I talk about this item, let me make this clear that you shouldn't follow blindly what I did. And this is very important because we all have different progression and also goals, so you should consider those factors before you invest on this item. So number one, as you can see, my main is currently at 14.29 and I'm not looking to rush for 14.45. Number two, I didn't go all in. I saved up some of my gold for my daily spending, such as honing and stuff like that. And number three, I'm looking to profit in the long term, which means I'm not looking to profit in the coming days or weeks. But if the situation allow it, then I will of course take my profit in the short term as well. Alright, now so let's talk about this item, and as you can see is the tier 3 juicers. Let's first talk about the fundamental value of this item. So those items are used to increase the honing success rate on all tier 3, right? So it starts from 1302 all the way to the end of tier 3, which we don't know yet. So it has a pretty long lifetime, I would say. And those items are actually quite special because they are roster limited items, which basically means the increasing number of alts doesn't actually impact the supply of this item. Alright, now so let's talk about the current flow of this item. And as you can see this picture, I use it quite often, and it's basically the change of behavior from the free-to-play players whenever we have a catalyst and we don't have any catalyst in the market. So as you can see, most of the time when we don't have any catalyst, free-to-play players will be on the supply side. They will be the ones who sell those items. And whenever we have a catalyst, the free-to-play will change their behavior. Some of them will stop selling and use those tradable items. And some of them will also be on the demand side, especially for those who have a lot of gold, like the veteran players. So it's very important to know where we are at the moment for these items. Are we in a no catalyst situation or are we in a catalyst situation? And the answer is we are not in a catalyst situation, because Valentine's release is not actually a catalyst for these items. It doesn't actually matter. What matters for the catalyst for these items is the bad honing rates. So those items gain value whenever we have bad honing rates, because psychologically when we have bad honing rates, you want to rely on these items and you hope that it can actually increase the success rate of that honing, right? So people will rely much more on these items when we have bad honing rates, which will reduce the supply of this item, increase the demand, and more pay-to-win players will also buy these items. So now I want to show you guys the representation of this flow on a graph, and let's start from the supply. So as I said previously, the increasing number of alts doesn't affect the supply of this item because it is a roster limited item. So once the supply reaches its peak, it is difficult to expect that it can still keep going up. Now at the beginning of tier 3, obviously there was not a lot of supply because not everyone has been able to reach tier 3. But SmartGate released a lot of events such as the Naruni and stuff like that, and it helps a lot of people to reach tier 3 as fast as possible, which means a lot of people have been able to farm the tier 3 Chaos Gate and also these items. And now I do think a lot of people have been selling those items for a gold income, and so the supply of this item is gonna go up to its peak. And now I do think the supply of this item is actually starting to go down because we start to have bad honing rates, especially if you have some items from plus 17 to plus 18. You know that the honing rate is actually quite bad and you need these items. So a lot of people will be choosing to just use the tradable ones instead of selling them, and some of them will also be buying them from the market. Now let's see how that looks like on the demand side. So as you can see at the beginning, we had a huge spike of demand, and it was mostly due to bad honing rates between 1340 all the way to 1370. We also had the whales who were buying a lot of these items. Now after that, between 1370 all the way to 1415, I don't think the honing rates were as bad as this moment right here. And for the people who were not at 1370 yet, we had these books from the Naruni events that actually buffed the honing success rate, so obviously the demand for these items were going down. Now currently from 1415 and above, I do think the honing success rate is starting to get really bad, and you can really start to feel it from plus 17 to plus 18, and it will get worse and worse. So obviously people will start looking at these items, and obviously they will realize that these items have actually more value than this timing right here. So now let's talk about the increasing number of alts. So as you can see, we had the Express event, we had Phaeton Pass, and we also have new class release. So obviously there will be more and more alts created in the game, which means obviously there will be more demand for this item, because when those alts are gonna reach this dead zone of bad hunting rates, the whales will also buy them. Remember that whales will not farm these items, they will buy it from the market. Now let's see how that looks like with the combination of demand, supply, and increasing number of alts. So as you can see at the beginning, the demand was way higher than supply, which basically means the price went really up, and then it started to decrease because people didn't actually need them a lot, and supply was really higher because a lot of people have been able to reach tier 3. Now the supply is going down because it started to get close to these bad hunting rates and demand is going up. So now what is my prediction going forward? As you can see, I do expect the supply to keep going up after this bad hunting rates dead zone, and I do expect the supply to keep going down as more and more people will be looking to buy this item or just use the tradable ones for their hunting. So this is a representation of the price influenced by supply and demand. So as you can see at the beginning, demand was way higher than the supply because not a lot of people have been able to reach tier 3 and farm those items, which means the price goes sky high. But then it crashed because a lot of people have been able to farm the items and selling them on the market. We had a huge spike on the supply side. And now the price is slowly going upwards, coming to this bad hunting rate zone. And so obviously I do expect that the demand will be higher than supply by a substantial amount. And so what happens when demand is higher than supply? You know it, I know it, everybody knows it. Price goes up. But how does it look like in terms of risk and rewards? And I do think the rewards are way higher than risk, especially if the whales are allowed to go past 20, 21, 22, 23. Those items are gonna be sky high, but even though that doesn't happen in the long term, the price of this item must go up. It is destined to go up. Guys, that will be it for the video. Remember, that's only what I think. It could be different from what really happens, but I'm willing to take this bet because the risk is way lower than the rewards. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any question, please ask me in the comment section, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace.